I once had a friend that was diagnosed with terminal cancer, and the news that he might only live up to 6 months was a great shock to him, his family, and his friends. However, in spite of the dire prognosis, he was initially determined to look into all available treatments that might cure or extend his life. I think that when you find yourself in such situations, you tend to look up every possible avenue for hope of preserving your life. As the months progressed and his health grew worse, I noticed an unexpected change in his attitude that came over him. He had always been a jovial person with an upbeat personality, but rather give in to discouragement and self-pity, he took comfort in his faith in God and humanity. His conversations focused on others rather than himself, and he spoke of the afterlife as something he was prepared for, believing that his deceased ancestors, including his mother and father, were there waiting for him. During the last few months, weeks, and days of his life, he was kindly cared for by family, friends, and his loving wife, who looked after both his physical and emotional needs, and workers from a local hospice came to the home to help regulate his medication and provide any other needed support. He didn't complain about his fate, and he was willing to allow others to serve him, realizing that they were the benefactors of something more. Indeed, one might ponder why God allows death and suffering in our world, but for me, such experiences taught me to value family more and kindness for others. You often can't learn these important attributes in the lap of luxury, and perhaps such an experience is the greatest and final gift the terminally ill can give those left behind. Welcome to today's news segment highlighting business opportunities on the Internet. One such opportunity is a program called AdSense from the major search engine Google. Basically, AdSense is a simple and easy way for website owners to place discrete ads on their sites as a means of earning income. You simply insert certain lines of code and then receive a percentage of the resulting income. What is so nice about this program is that it is very simple and straightforward to implement and maintain. Here are some points that you should keep in mind. First, the program is free to join. Next, you only have to add a snippet of code to each page to display the ads. Also, Google serves up ads on your pages that are relevant to your site's content. These ads also enhance the content and substance of your own pages. Also, the ads are less noticeable and annoying than pop-up or pop-under ads. And you can customize the look and feel and placement of the ads. Furthermore, you don't have to deal with advertisers since Google manages the entire program. Finally, an online area gives you statistics as to the performance of your account. As you can see, the AdSense program can be beneficial to both sides in allowing advertisers to spread the word about their products and services, while websites who display the ads can earn money to support their own businesses or interests. Visit the Google website and read the terms of service to learn more about this program and see if AdSense is right for you. Well, for those of you who went out today, I don't have to tell you it was clear but muggy for most of the state, with the high temperatures in the low to mid-90s. The city of Elkview had the high for the day of 97 degrees, and that's hot. I'm glad I'm working indoors today. For those of you planning outdoor activities tomorrow, you can expect fair skies for most of Saturday, with temperatures in the high 90s. However, things might change by Saturday evening with a storm front moving in. We can expect light, scattered showers over the northern part of the state, bringing slightly cooler temperatures in the 80s, but this rain should taper off by mid-Sunday morning. It will be partly cloudy for most of the morning, but these clouds should move out by mid-afternoon. Skies should be clear Sunday night for those wanting to catch a glimpse of the partial lunar eclipse. It should start at 10:47. And that's all for today's weather.
Hi, and welcome to our new show, Exotic Animal Kingdom, a program geared toward introducing animals to the young and old. In today's show, our young but experienced guest will introduce us to the fantastic world of bearded dragons. Welcome, Joshua.
Thank you very much.
Now, Joshua, I must admit that a bearded dragon sounds something like out of a fantasy book. What exactly is a bearded dragon?
Well, here, why don't you hold on to Bert?
Whoa, wow, okay.
While I talk about him.
Okay.
Bearded dragons actually originated from the deserts of Australia, and this is one of the several species that survived in that climate. Today, beardies like this one are bred in captivity here in the U.S.
Okay, and so what are some of the essential things to know when getting a bearded dragon? I mean, can you raise one as a family pet?
Bearded dragons make a great family pet and are very docile creatures.
Yeah, this one seems quite friendly.
You just need to know how to care for them.
Well, what are some of the things that you should keep in mind?
First, you need to have the right supplies, some kind of enclosure.
Like a cage or something like that?
Yeah.
Okay.
A full-spectrum fluorescent light bulb and a basking lamp.
Okay.
Branches and rocks to climb on and bask on. A food or water dish, and something to line the bottom of the cage.
Okay, well, let's get down to some of the basics. What are the dietary needs of a bearded dragon? It sounds like a very carnivorous beast. Perhaps they eat fiery Mexican tacos or something like that.
No, bearded dragons are omnivores.
Now, omnivores, what exactly is that?
Creatures that eat insects, vegetables, and greens, the leafy parts of plants and their stems.
Okay, you mean like, for example, carrots or something like that?
Yeah.
Okay.
Young dragons like Bert can be fed small crickets twice a day, along with some greens and shredded vegetables.
Okay.
And then as your dragon grows, you can increase the amount of greens and vegetables.
Okay.
And you can also dust the vegetables and insects with the calcium supplement to promote bone growth.
Okay, and what about water? What kind of needs do they have for that?
Well, since bearded dragons traditionally live in arid regions, they obtain most of their water naturally from what they eat. So you have to be sure to feed them plenty of vegetables that serve as good carriers of water.
Okay.
You also spray them occasionally with a water bottle or provide them with a shallow water dish. Whatever you do, be sure to keep the cage dry.
Okay.
Or else mold and bacteria can grow that could make your dragon sick.
Okay, and finally you mentioned about lighting earlier. What do you need exactly to keep your beardie happy and healthy?
Having a full-spectrum light and basking lamp are pretty key to raising healthy beardies. First, they need the simulated sunlight from the ultraviolet bulb.
Now, is that the full spectrum light that you mentioned? Okay.
To absorb rays, vital to the production of certain vitamins, and the high body temperatures of a basking light to aid in the digestive process.
Now, what kind of temperatures are you referring to when you talk about the basking area?
Like 90 to 100 degrees.
Okay, and I don't think they need suntan lotion, right?
No.
Okay. So perhaps then I could put my beardie in an aquarium and just set him by the window, which gets direct sunlight. Would that work?
Well, actually, you can even take him outside 2 or 3 times a week in the direct sunlight. However, putting them in a glass aquarium with exposure to sunlight won't be viewed as a replacement for direct light or UV bulb because of the glass only filters out the sunlight they need.
Wow, I didn't know there was so much to know about raising a pet like that. Well, thanks very much for joining us today, Joshua.
My pleasure.
July 11. I left on my trip today. Having been overseas before, I felt somewhat at ease with the idea of traveling abroad, particularly since I lived in Asia a number of years. However, others on the trip with me felt some apprehension about getting sick, something quite natural, and received suggested immunizations before leaving. July 12th. In the first city I visited, I traveled downtown by bus to have dinner and then went out to visit some of the local sites. I was surprised at the number of people selling their goods in different marketplaces, and I quickly figured out the custom of haggling over the price before you buy something. And even if you feel you're getting a good deal, you might try walking away from the merchant, and there is the chance that the shop owner will call you back and even lower the price more in an attempt to get you to purchase something. July 14th. No matter where I found myself today, I noticed a number of people who just stared at me as they walked by, like I was an alien from another planet. Although it felt somewhat disquieting at first, particularly in the swimming pool locker room, I realized that my presence was perhaps an oddity, with so few foreigners in that area. In fact, the people were just curious, and I was even able to strike up a few conversations with some of the locals, giving them opportunities to practice their English. In the end, I came to the conclusion that such situations gave me a chance to be an informal ambassador for my country. July 16th. Every day brings new discoveries, and I'm learning how to navigate the road system. I found that crossing the road isn't as easy as it seems. Bicycles, buses, people, and taxis fill the streets, dodging each other with constant narrow misses, yet in many instances the flow remains constant. And in spite of the seemingly chaotic conditions, people go about their business as if, well, everything were so routine and blasé. I, on the other hand, tried to dart in and out of traffic to cross streets, weaving back and forth to get to the other side. It was a little scary at first, but I quickly got the knack of it. July 23rd. I'm preparing to return back home tomorrow, and one thing I have discovered, something more important than all of my other experiences, has been that there are often more similarities than differences between cultures. Regardless of language and culture, all people have a desire for friendship that bridges any cultural boundaries. The people I've met have been wonderful hosts and friends, and I will treasure every moment of the trip. Here are the top stories today. A giant crocodile attacked a man walking his dog along a river in Australia. Fortunately, the man beats the beast back with a rock as the man's dog bites the reptile on the face. Both man and dog suffered minor injuries but are expected to recover. Next, a huge tornado catches a woman trapped in her vehicle and carries her a quarter of a mile from town. The woman suffered a broken leg and minor neck injuries, but she was more worried about her cat swept away by the storm. She's offering a $1,000 reward for her feline friend. In another part of the world, a man gets his hand stuck in a kitchen garbage disposal and is trapped for 3 days. His cries went unanswered until breaking the kitchen window and signaling for help with a fire extinguisher. The man said that his wedding ring disappeared down the disposal and he was trying to fish it out. And finally, a Canadian family of 4 gets lost trying to drive across a mountain pass in a blizzard and is stranded for a week, surviving on a banana, 10 cheese crackers, and a cooked ham. Temperatures dip to 15 below as the family stays warm by singing Christmas carols. The family is finally rescued after the father hikes 15 miles to get help. And that's the news today. Hello everybody, and welcome back to a thrilling game at the Tokyo Dome with the U.S. team taking a drumming at the hands of the Japanese national team going into the second half 51-26. The U.S. Dream Team is made up of NBA veterans, supposedly the best we have to offer, but they need a miracle to dig themselves out of a hole and come back at this point. Unfortunately for the Dream Team, their leading scorer, High Fly Wilson, was ejected 1 minute into the second quarter after climbing into the stands and fighting with a spectator who had continually heckled Wilson for shooting 3 air balls in a row. Another bizarre moment came late in the second quarter when the Japanese center, Tomohiro Suzuki, suffered a concussion and was knocked out cold as he lunged for a ball and collided with the knee of one of his own teammates. There also have been several other injuries, including the loss of starting forward Masa Harada. Some of the coaches on the U.S. team are attributing the team's sluggish performance to some raw fish they had last night while attending a banquet in their honor. Next thing we'll know it, they'll be blaming their players' cement hands on a demonstration class on Japanese paper folding earlier this week. Who knows what'll be next? Okay, it looks like we're ready for the second half. Have you been in an accident and still haven't received the financial settlement you deserve? Then call the professionals of lawsuit financing today. With over 75 years of combined experience, we have settled millions of dollars in claims with all types of cases: medical malpractice, personal injury, wrongful death, motor vehicle accidents, and employment discrimination. What's more, we can provide you with the cash to take care of your immediate financial needs. Home mortgages, car payments, and bills. No credit checks or application fees, and you can be approved within 24 hours. And you don't pay anything until we win your case, and you keep the cash advance if we don't. So why wait? The other guy has lawyers working hard on their cases, so why shouldn't you? Call now for a free over-the-phone consultation to assess your case. You have nothing to lose.
I love trees. I love trees because they are an important commodity to the environment. They make life possible on this planet, along with other plants. I also love the trees' glorious display of colors in the fall. I love trees because they have many different shades of green, so many that it's almost impossible to count. When I paint a picture of a tree, I use many shades of green and many more shades of brown. My favorite thing about trees is that they always seem to have a glow around them. I love trees because they always smell so fresh and clean. I like to go to the nursery because I love the smell of trees. It's so refreshing. It's a glass of cool water on a hot day, or a damp cloth on a hot forehead. I love to plant trees. I love to dig through the soil and make a hole in which the tree will rest. I love to place the tree in the ground, making sure not to disturb the roots, which will be the tree's support. I love to water the trees. I love to pour the water on the trees, knowing that it would grow. One of my favorite things about trees is that they are fun to climb. I started climbing trees when I was little. My dad taught me how to climb, along with some useful tips. I especially like to climb my grandpa's apple tree. I love to wind through the branches and climb to a board that has been placed there. Once up, I like to think and relax, or bring a book up with me. It's fun to let my imagination run away with me while munching apples. I love trees in the autumn when they display their beautiful colors. In the autumn time, splashes of red, yellow, orange, and green decorate the mountainside. The maples go red, the oak and aspen go yellow, while the evergreens maintain their beautiful shade of green. Trees make life possible because they use the carbon dioxide and release oxygen, which makes it so that we can breathe. If we exterminate trees, the effects could be fatal. There may be global warming, lack of oxygen, and we would definitely not have any lumber or paper. Trees are very important to the environment. The beauty of trees make me feel peaceful and inspire me to make the best of myself.
For many homeowners, refinancing their home mortgages can provide numerous financial benefits over the long run. For one, you can lower your monthly mortgage payments by taking advantage of lower interest rates. This amount can be significant depending on the market rates. Second, reducing your mortgage can provide you with additional funds to finance other home improvements, like repairing that leaky roof, adding a garage, or building an addition onto your home. Furthermore, by refinancing, you can greatly reduce the length of your loan. After several years into your mortgage, people often earn more money than when they first purchased their home, and thus have a surplus to pay off loans quicker. However, for some people, refinancing their mortgages just makes sense, providing a cushion in case of a financial crisis due to loss of employment or a medical crisis. Whatever you do, be sure to gather all the facts about refinancing to make the best informed decision
that will meet your current and future needs.
I'd like to share with you a remarkable Christmas story, one of courage, life, and love. 25 years ago, Ray Anderson, a single parent with a 1-year-old son, was returning home after running a few errands Christmas Eve when he witnessed a horrendous accident which took place when the driver of a truck ran a red light and collided with the car of Sandra Jenkins. The impact of the collision killed Sandra instantly, but her 3-month-old daughter was left trapped upside down in the burning wreckage, seemingly doomed to a fiery tomb. While others looked on in horror, Anderson jumped out of his vehicle and crawled into the car through the shattered rear window to try to free the infant. Seconds later, the car was totally engulfed in flames, but Anderson was miraculously able to pull the baby to safety. While the child came out of the accident virtually unscathed, Anderson suffered third-degree burns over 80% of his body. 2 days later, Anderson died, but his heroic act was published widely in the media. Then, Anderson's son was soon adopted by a relative, and the family moved to the East Coast. The most remarkable part of this story unfolded only last week. Karen and her fiancé Aaron were looking through some old boxes in the attic of Karen's home when they came across some old newspaper clippings. "This is me when I was a newborn baby. I was rescued from a burning car, but my mother died in the accident," explained Karen. Although Aaron knew Karen's mother had died years earlier, he never fully understood the circumstances until he started to skim over the newspaper article. Karen continued to sort through some of the old books when she saw Aaron absorbed in the details of the accident. Then she noticed, to her much surprise, tears swelling in his eyes, and he began to cry uncontrollably. Then, in between sobs, he went on to reveal that the man that pulled her from the flames was his own father, the father he never knew. The two embraced and shed many tears that afternoon, recounting stories told to them about their parents. What really drew their attention were some of the other details in the article, unknown to both of them until that moment. According to the article, Aaron's father was on a mission of love that fateful Christmas Eve, in the process of distributing care packages to needy families in the area. That was a yearly tradition that he had performed unbeknownst to everyone except 2 close friends. This he did because of his firm conviction that the best Christmas gifts came not from the gift received, but from those given, and that the acts of charity should remain anonymous. As it turns out, Karen's mother was also involved in similar volunteer work throughout the community. In honor of their parents and the desire to share the gift of Christmas, Aaron and Karen have continued and committed to carry on similar acts of kindness. While hardship, grief, and tragedy plague our lives, the gift of love seems to transcend all material obstacles and brings greater hope for those downtrodden and low in spirit. Merry Christmas to all of you.